His daughter knew nothing.
I was shell-shocked.
His wife knew bits and pieces.
But not the whole story, and this time he bared his soul.
And there it was, laid out in the form of a Facebook post.
I posted it without telling them anything, and I let them read it.
I saw it and I started bawling.
It began with 6 chilling words.
I was almost a school shooter. I didn't carry out anything, I didn't hurt anyone, but in 1996 I almost did the worst possible thing.
Aaron Stark wrote that after hearing his wife Becky and daughter Katie talking about the motivations of the Parkland shooter. Becky remembers exactly what she said.
How can people be so mean that someone feels that they have to take things out on other people?
And sadly, I understand how they could get to that point.
In the moment, he said nothing. He just started typing.
My mental health was in sad shape. I was picked on and bullied for being fat, for being smart, for not playing sports. I was severely depressed and suicidal, so I got angry, and I started hiding weapons around anywhere I hung out frequently.
And he'd spend a lot of his time here at Denver's North High School. And technically he was a student, although he uses that term loosely. He never went to class, he didn't have a circle of friends, he just sort of hung around the building. And that's where he met members from a local gang.
And so I went to one of them one day and I said, hey, can you get me a gun? And because I had planned on either shooting up the school or a mall food court.
What is going through your mind that makes you think shooting up a school or a mall is the answer?
Because it's the most amount of damage possible in the shortest amount of time.
So what stopped him? Well, he'd have to wait 3 days for the gun, and in that time period, one of the very few people who he might have still considered a friend reached out.
He took me to his house, sat me down, gave me a shower, gave me a meal, treated me like a human. And when you treat someone like they're a person when they don't feel human at all, it changes their entire outlook on everything.
He says that friend literally saved his life.
I love my wife without a doubt, but even she pales in comparison to him. I thought that I was useless and worthless and nobody wanted me and no one would ever love me at all and that I was meant to be that way.
But that feeling is now all in the past, and Stark is using his newfound confidence to tell his story in the hopes of preventing tragedy and changing lives.
I responded in a post and I said, now the world gets to see what I get to see every day.
He's secured a book deal, appeared on national television, and a few days ago, he even gave his very first TED Talk.
He stopped me with his acts of kindness from committing that atrocity that day. I think it's what I was meant to do. I think that this is where I should have been the whole time. I was a stay-at-home dad sitting down playing video games, watching TV all day beforehand. Now, I want to spend the rest of my life going out and talking to people and getting the word out.
I definitely believe he's going to change some lives.
Do you see your dad differently now?
No. I see him as the same person I saw him as 2 years ago, 3 years ago. My best friend and somebody I look up to.
And Stark's most powerful message may also be one of the simplest.
The person who you think deserves the least amount of love, you should give them the most love because they deserve it the most.
Reporting in Westminster, Colorado,
Sorry.
I'm Chris Welch.